actually created a timeline of the Viber communications for the day prior to the murder on January 22nd, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Now, through the course of your investigation, did you also review evidence relating to travel by the defendant and Robert Baker after the murder?
Yes.
And did some of the evidence that you reviewed come from a cell phone extraction relating to the defendant, her iPhone, I think it was booked as LAPD evidence item under the DR as 119, an Apple iPhone 7?
Yes.
And did you also review evidence that came from Robert Baker's Dropbox?
I did.
Did you also review evidence that came from the defendant's iCloud account that backed up or connected to her Apple iPhone?
Yes.
And did you also review evidence, including photographs, relating to an SD card that was found in the defendant's Ford Explorer, along with various items of women's clothing?
Yes.
Did you also review evidence of, along with photographs of the extraction from Baker's Samsung S8, which was booked as item 121?
I did.
Showing you what was previously marked Exhibit 159. This appeared to be the timeline created from the use of the Viber records between the defendant and Mr. Baker on the date of January 22nd of 2017.
Yes.
And this was the date, as you testified, that there were approximately 180 Viber communications between them.
Correct.
Now, relating to travel, did you learn from your investigation as well as your review of the extractions from digital evidence that the defendant, along with Robert Baker, traveled to Las Vegas on 2 separate occasions?
Yes.
And do you know, did those trips occur one in March and one in May?
Correct.
And did you also view photographs and evidence relating to another trip that occurred at the end of May to another location?
Yes.
And where was that?
Myrtle Beach.
Showing you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 117, do you recognize what you see here?
Yes.
And what is this?
These are photos captured from 157 was an SD card.
That was the SD card I just asked you about a few moments ago that was found in Baker's vehicle, the Ford Expedition.
Yes. And of course, on the right, we have a picture of Monica Sementilli and Robert Baker, and on the left, it's Monica standing next to a big banner about the event.
No, it's included, it's already been shown.
I understand that, except the source is not, it's overruled.
Did you also find evidence relating to this trip in the defendant's email account?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have 2 sets of documents that contain emails, one relating to the date of March 10th of 2017. It is 4 pages in length. The other dated March 18th of 2017, it is 2 pages in length. And the final document appears to be a ticket to the Paradise Party compound. May these items be collectively marked as People's 215.
They may.
Thank you.
And then you object to the railroad again. Thank you.
Overruled.
Your Honor, I stand corrected. Thank you, Detective. The second set of emails is dated May 18th of 2017. The one that's 2 pages in length. I'm going to start with the ticket at the back. 215. Thank you, Your Honor. There is a 4 in the lower left corner. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
And is this one of the items that you recovered from the defendant's email?
Yes.
Along with various documentation with respect to booking airfare and this event?
Yes.
Showing you the first page of the email from March 10th of 2017 from Expedia Travel. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
The document speaks for itself.
Overruled.
It's an itinerary basically for the flight, hotel, for the time frame of May 25th to May 29th.
And at the very top of this email from Expedia, is it emailed to the defendant's email in her Hotmail account?
Yes, that is the email for Monica Sementilli.
And if we move down to the itinerary, does it indicate flight from LAX on May 25th, round trip to Myrtle Beach with the price of $2,387 with an itinerary number?
Yes.
And does this document lay out the itinerary in terms of the airfare and the flights from Los Angeles to Charlotte, from Charlotte, South Carolina to Myrtle Beach?
Yes.
As well as at the top of the third page, itinerary or confirmation number for the Sheridan Hotel at the Convention Center
Yes.
under the defendant's name.
Correct.
Showing you the second email from May 18th of 2017. Did you also note this with respect to your review of the defendant's email account from the defendant to an individual by the name of Tony Chubbs Marcus?
Yes.
And what does this relate to?
The pass, sort of like the pass to the weekend pass to the whole party event. Monica had purchased 2 tickets and hadn't received them.
And is that what she indicates on the first couple lines here at the top of People's 215? Help still have not received confirmation email for tickets.
Correct.
And then in response, is there an email saying that your confirmation has been sent?
Yes, resent.
Resent. Well, I have an email from the Aria Sky Suites to the defendant dated July 18th of 2016. May this document be marked as People's Exhibit 216.
Yes.
Showing you People's 216. Do you recognize what you see here from the defendant's email account?
Yes, this is a forwarded itinerary of Fabio's travel to the Wella professional hair event in Las Vegas at Aria.
In July 2016?
Correct. And Monica forwarded it to Diane at Racquetball, which is a email address for Robert Baker.
And at the bottom of the second page of People's 216, does it contain a map that has someone has written in pen an arrow with respect to the registration area and a path from the valet to that location at the casino level.
Yes.
And did that appear to match up to what has previously been marked 156 within Curtis Davis's PowerPoint with respect to a deleted email from the defendant's email account?
Yes.
Also showing you a document from Curtis Davis's PowerPoint, in this case 156, showing registration of a new Samsung S6 registered on January 23rd for WhatsApp, as we discussed a few moments ago. During the course of your investigation, did you ever recover a Samsung S6?
No.
I have a set of 7 photographs that are photographs obtained from either Baker's Dropbox, his phone, or the defendant's phone, or from photographs from a search warrant. May they be marked collectively as People's 216? I'm showing you photographs from what was previously marked as People's 192. Did you find these photographs within Baker's Dropbox under a folder that was created under the name Monica?
Yes.
Looking at the center photo, do you know where this photograph was taken?
Yes.
Where is that?
This was in the underground parking area of the apartment complex where Robert Baker lived.
Showing you photographs contained in People's 217 that has a 6 in the lower left corner. Photographs from December 14th from 2016 at 12:59 in the morning. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, I do.
And what do these photographs?
They depict Monica Sementilli with Robert Baker. In the photograph on the right, she's holding a cigar and they're smiling together. And on the left, they're kissing.
Now, there's a continuing objection to the photograph.
Yes, I understand that, sir.
Did you find in Robert Baker's Dropbox numerous photographs that were sexually graphic in nature?
Yes.
Can you describe for us what those photographs depicted?
Objection, Your Honor, that's cute. It's open-ended.
Let me see your cell phone.
Did you understand my last question?
I did remember.
Did you find numerous, when I say numerous, over 240 photographs, videos of a sexually graphic nature relating to the defendant and Robert Baker stored in Robert Baker's Dropbox under a couple different names?
Yes.
Was one of those names Madonna?
Yes.
And another one named Real Madonna?
Yes.
Can you describe for us, let me ask you this, were the photographs of a sexually graphic or explicit nature ranging from 2016 to photographs in 2017.
Yes.
Can you give us a generalized description of what these photographs encompassed, Detective, based on your experience with sex crimes?
Yes. There was, as you stated previously, over 240 photos, mostly photos, some video, depicting Monica Baker. I'm sorry, I apologize. Monica Sementilli, partially clothed, completely nude, seductive poses. There were photos of close-ups of Monica Sementilli's vagina, close-ups of her breasts, close-ups of Robert Baker's penis. There were explicit photos of sexual intercourse, oral copulation, wherein Monica is oral copulating Robert Baker, oral copulation by Monica on other unknown males, screenshots of Skype type videoing of Monica engaged in various sex acts with an unknown male. There were masturbation, various photos of masturbation by Robert Baker, masturbation by Monica Sementilli, close-up pictures of an anus, close-up pictures of a finger in an anus, and then various sort of posed pictures, partially clothed or nude in various locations, sort of like more nude modeling, I would say.
Okay. And when you described some of these photos, could you tell from the background of the photographs where some of these photos were taken?
Yes.
And did some of those photographs take place in Robert Baker's apartment on Independence?
Yes.
And could you also tell that some of those photographs were actually taken in public late at night outside?
Yes.
What number was it? 217 that I marked this set with the.
Sorry, the last?
Yeah, 217 was that the set?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Showing you people's 217. There is a 4, Your Honor, in the lower left corner for the record. Again, as we just discussed, were these some of the photographs as well as Skype that you located in Robert Baker's Dropbox under a folder titled Monica from various dates in 2016, including October and November?
Yes.
The still photograph that we see here on the left, is this what you were referring to when you said there were Skypes or videos of Skypes?
I was actually referring more to a screenshot of an actual sex act, and the bottom of that screenshot actually said Skype, so I knew that was Skype. This is obviously a screenshot from some sort of similar application where you can talk to somebody via video.
Okay, so this might be a video where a screenshot was taken from perhaps like FaceTime or something of that nature.
Correct.
Okay, and does this include in this photograph a picture of the defendant with Robert Baker?
Yes, and I can tell just by the background that Robert Baker is in his apartment.
And it actually, from that photograph, does it appear that he's not only in his apartment, but that he's in his bedroom?
Yes,
And you know that based on that, something that you see in the background?
yes, that his chest of drawers with the mirror.
Showing you what's been marked as People's 217 that has an 8 in the lower left corner, a photograph amongst the search warrant photos from the date of the arrest of June 14th of 2017. Can you tell us if you recognize what you see here?
This is Robert Baker's bedroom, and he has that very distinctive duvet or cover on his bed, and then that's the mirror that I talked about previously on the dresser drawers.
Showing you People's 217 that has a 9 in the lower left corner. Is this again a photograph recovered from Robert Baker's Dropbox under the folder Monica with metadata of the date of November 3rd, 2017 at 9:34 p.m.?
Yes,
Looking at these, the photograph on the left, does the photograph to the right appear to be a close-up of some writing on the mirror above that dresser in Robert Baker's bedroom?
it is.
And what do we see here in these photographs?
So Monica is looking into the mirror, I believe, putting makeup on, and up in the upper right-hand corner of the mirror, it says Mrs. Baker, and then you can actually see Robert Baker captured in the mirror taking the photograph.
When you observed the photograph in the Dropbox folder, it did not contain the black privacy box that we placed, correct?
Correct. Her buttocks were exposed in the actual picture.
Showing you People's Exhibit 217, there's a 1 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes.
And what is this?
This is two photographs of Monica Sementilli laying on Robert Baker's bed in Robert Baker's apartment, and she's wearing an Army t-shirt which was given to her by Robert Baker.
Showing you what we've now marked as People's 217. It has 2 in the lower left corner. I can see that the photograph, as it appears here, is reversed. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, this is Monica when she's traveling home from the trip to Toronto to celebrate Fabio. She's in the picture on the right. I believe that's the first class lounge. She's having something to drink, and she's wearing that same Army t-shirt. And then in the left-hand corner, she's in first class on the plane with I believe it's the menu.
And were these photographs recovered from cell phone extractions from her Apple iPhone, as we talked about earlier, number 119, and Baker's, one of his Samsungs, number 121?
Correct.
Looking at People's 217, hard to see, there's a 1 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize these photographs from, again, one of Baker's Samsungs, number 121, that were taken on June 6th of 2017?
Yes, this is at the depicting Monica playing pool at the Rabbit Hole Bar, which, if I remember correctly, is in West Hills.
Okay. Now, with respect to the date of June 6th of 2017, later that night at approximately 11:30, were there also photos that were taken that you observed in the item number 121, Baker's Samsung, of the defendant posing in front of a new Mustang?
Yes.
And can you describe what was depicted in those photos?
It's probably 24 or so photos of I would describe them as modeling type photos that starts out sort of scantily clad with a long, I don't know if it's a long shirt or a dress. It's open, it's exposing partial parts of Monica Sementilli's either buttocks or breasts. And then as the photos go on, she's no longer in the clothes. If I remember correctly, she's wearing very high heels and almost like leg warmers that go all the way up to the knee. It makes it look kind of like a boot, but it's actually a heel with a leg warmer. And in the latter photos, that's all she's sort of wearing. And she's posing in different sort of provocative poses, both next to the Mustang and up against like a metal post pole.
Like potentially a light pole?
Yes.
Now, some of the photographs that you found in these various devices, or on these various devices, were some of them taken while the defendant was on vacation prior to his murder with Fabio Sementilli.
Yes.
Were some of those photos taken in August of 2016 in Cabo San Lucas at a hotel called the Cape Hotel?
Yes.
And were some of those photographs taken on a trendsetter trip to Hawaii at the Kahala Hotel in October of 2016?
Yes.
Did you also find photographs of a graphic, explicit nature that were taken that one might describe as selfies while the defendant was in Toronto burying her husband?
Yes.
Were there also numerous naked or sexually graphic photos, as you've described them, of the defendant posing in her own home, either in her bedroom or lying on the couch in the family room area, or posing in front of the dresser in her bedroom?
Yes, as well as some video.
Video with respect to sex acts, simulating sex acts, or masturbation with various objects?
That is correct. Masturbation.
Did you also find photographs in these devices of the defendant drinking wine while cooking naked in Baker's apartment in the kitchen area?
Yes.
Some of these photographs that you found in Baker's Dropbox or on the extraction for the Samsung S8, the device 121, were those also contained in the defendant's iCloud account?
Yes.
And did some of those appear to contain photographs of her lying naked while she was in Toronto visiting family in August of 2016?
Yes.
Did some of those photographs also contain various simulated acts of graphic nature involving, let's say, masturbation?
Yes.
And did the iCloud backup belonging to the defendant also contain the photographs of her trips with her husband, such as to Mexico, Cabo San Lucas in 2016.
Yes.
Did also some of those photographs in her iCloud contain photographs, many photographs of her performing oral sex on Robert Baker inside of his Ford Expedition?
Yes.
With respect to the SD card,
I'm gonna object. This is far beyond anything.
One moment. You can,
Relevant to the murder
wait
case.
one moment, counsel. You can approach.
the question I had just asked you was about the SD card number 157 found in the Ford Expedition belonging to Robert Baker, along with various items of clothing. Did those also contain some of the same type of sexually graphic photos that you've described during the time the defendant was in Toronto for her husband's funeral?
Yes.
I want to now move on to an area with respect to burner phones. Can you tell us, please, what is a burner phone?
Typically, it's a hard-to-trace phone obtained usually for so that law enforcement can't link it to an individual. A lot of times,
There's no foundation, that's what it is.
Sustain.
Sure. What's your experience with burner phones?
I've had a lot of experience, unfortunately, with cases that I've worked where the suspect that I'm looking for has tried to elude or elude capture or get away with the crime by using a burner phone as opposed to a phone that's registered to that person.
And
And
how?
I've actually purchased burner phones to assist myself in an investigation, so that criminals don't know that I'm from the police department calling them.
So what do you mean when you say you've done it yourself? Tell us what that means. What have you done?
For example, I had a case where we were working with an informant, and the informant needed to make a series of phone calls for us. So we went into Walmart and purchased a prepaid cell phone with, I don't know, 200 minutes on it that is virtually untraceable. You don't have to give a name. All you do is pay for it. We paid for it in cash, so we didn't leave a trail of credit card, and there was no way to link that phone back to us.
So have you also handled cases where someone might purchase such a phone that's untraceable, where because they're paying cash up front for the minutes, so they don't need to purchase a plan, where they might use even fake names and addresses?
Yes, that's typically if you go into more of the traditional like Metro PCS or T-Mobile or things like that, you have to give some information. You have to give us information, a name, an address. You don't necessarily have to show ID, but you have to give information. And in those cases, what criminals have done to get around that is given fake information, fake names, fake addresses.
Did you find that that tactic was utilized in this case?
It was.
Okay. So, I want to ask you with respect to the evidence in this case, we heard that at the time of her arrest, the defendant in her Mustang on June 14th of 2017 in her purse was in possession of two phones, one the Apple iPhone 119 that we've talked about, the other being a ZTE flip phone that was booked into evidence under this DR number for this case on a property report number 120 that contained a cell phone number 747-250-0708. Did you uncover or investigate that particular phone along with a second phone?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you did and what you learned?
If I can, I want to say the date was January 29th. Two cell phones were purchased at a T-Mobile, I believe it was a T-Mobile in Victorville off of Hook Avenue. One was the ZTE flip phone and another was an LG stylus phone. The individual who purchased the phone gave a fake name of Daniel Jones, correct, and a fictitious address that actually doesn't even exist, a fictitious city of Panama City, I think it was, Lindale Ave in Panama City.
Glendale Ave in Panama City?
I think it was Lindale,
Lindale.
Lindale.
Okay. And what else did you uncover?
We through a search warrant, I obtained cell phone records for both of those cell phones, and in relation to the LG phone, which was also a 747 number, I think it was 747880, I don't remember the last four. In analyzing the CDRs for that phone, I realized that there were common contacts for Robert Baker in those phones, that phone was being used by Robert Baker as a burner phone, basically.
So, once you obtained those cell phone records relating to these two phone numbers, you said that you noted that contacts relating to Robert Baker were contained on one or both of those phones?
One.
And which phone of the two was that?
That was the LG.
Okay. And did you uncover, based on those records, information relating to the ZTE phone, number 120, that was recovered, as I mentioned, in the defendant's Mustang on June 14th?
Yes.
Did you also, pursuant to a search warrant, obtain information from T-Mobile regarding these two phones?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have documents relating to the ZTE flip phone, number 120, as well as the LG phone from T-Mobile, and each of these items have photographs attached, one of which, the ZTE, has already been marked as 150. Could I have this set of documents and the additional photo marked as people's next in order?
218.
Thank you. Showing you a document that's now been marked under this package for 218. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes.
And what is this?
This is basically when law enforcement writes a search warrant, this is one of the things that they provide along with we request and is provided along with the CVR, and it's basically subscriber information. Who is the owner basically of that phone and that phone number?
And was this search warrant that references a DR number, is that DR number the DR number specific to this case?
Yes, it is.
And does it contain on this document here, that I'm highlighting, the phone number 747-888-2168?
Yes.
Were you also in court yesterday during the testimony of one of Robert Baker's friends, Roger Brown?
Yes.
Showing you what was marked yesterday as People's 212. Is that the same phone number that we see here that he testified to yesterday as a phone number provided him by Robert Baker after the murder, the 747-888-2168?
Yes.
And what does this document that we were talking about that you obtained pursuant to search warrant in Exhibit 218 indicate?
Gives the subscriber name, and again, this is just the name that was provided to T-Mobile.
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones. An address, the subscriber address, as it was provided by the person that bought the phone. And
That's just the Indale Street in Panama City that you said was a non-existent or a fake address?
Yes.
And does it also indicate just below the actual date?
Yes, and even sort of more importantly is that activation date on 1/29/2017.
What I've just highlighted?
Correct.
Okay. And then beneath this, does it also indicate the same information with respect to the description or the phone model being an LG stylus?
Yes, gives all the identifying information for that specific device.
Showing you People's 218. There's a 3 in the lower left corner. Did you locate this photograph within item 121, the Samsung S8, a screenshot of this very phone taken June 3rd of 2017, that being the LG phone?
Yes, unfortunately in this case, we never recovered the LG phone, but we did find evidence of it in a photograph recovered from Robert Baker's device.
Which matched up to the search warrant information, correct?
Yes, it is an LG phone, and it appears to be the same in look and style as the LG Stylo 2 Plus.
Showing you the second document from T-Mobile within People's 218. You recognize what you see here.
Yes.
And what is this?
This is again the subscriber information to the ZTE phone, and it was acquired at the same place on the same date with the same subscriber name and fictitious subscriber name and address.
Okay. So again, Daniel Jones at the same Panama City address, same activation date, correct?
Correct.
And here the phone number 747-250-0708, correct?
That's correct.
And you're telling us that that was the phone number for the ZTE flip phone that was recovered that we see here depicted in People's 150.
Correct.
Did you also, let me just go back to that T-Mobile document. Does it also indicate phone model ZTE black?
Symbol, yes.
Did you uncover any information, given that you were able to do a device extraction on the ZTE flip phone? Did you uncover any information regarding the use of that particular phone?
Yes.
And what was that?
It was used not very often. I was not able to identify any of the persons that were contacted in this phone. What was interesting to me about this phone was that on January 31st, when we know that Monica Sementilli traveled to Toronto, there is a information that was extracted from the actual device with a message that said, welcome to Canada. So the phone essentially switched from America cellular towers to cellular towers in Canada at the same time that we know that Monica Sementilli traveled to Canada.
And that would have been for the funeral.
Correct.
Your Honor, I have a two-page document for the SMS messages relating to that ZTE. Could it be added to People's 218, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Do you recognize what you see here?
I do.
And what is this?
This was what I was speaking about in the highlighted portion. You'll see that it has that specific date, 1/31/2017, when we know that Monica traveled to Canada for Fabio's funeral, and there's the message, welcome to Canada.
Okay. And here it says UTC -8, so that would be California time, correct?
Correct. I'm not sure because I didn't print out this document. We know through Celebrite you can pick whether you want it in what time zone you want it in. I believe this is our time zone.
Okay. And this
And I
is,
believe it's already been sort of calculated for us, even though it says -8, I believe these are the actual times.
okay.
I'm not certain.
Thank you. Had you also reviewed the recording relating to the Perkins operation, or the portion where, subsequent to her arrest, the defendant spoke to Detective Gable at the cell door at the Van Nuys station relating to this particular phone?
Yes.
And were you aware that the information that she provided was to Detective Gable, that she found that ZTE flip phone in the garage just prior to her trip to New York and Toronto in June of 2017, and that she was taking it to a store so that they could provide some information to her on whether it was an old phone and who it belonged to?
Yes.
So the evidence that you uncovered indicated that the defendant took that phone with her when she went to Toronto to accompany her husband's body back for burial in Canada in January, the end of January, January 31st.
Yes.
was registered to Robert Baker that was a Samsung S6?
No.
As part of your review of the device extractions or cell phone data, did you locate within the defendant's Apple iPhone extraction text messages between her and her daughters subsequent to the murder of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes.